Tentacles pull you into the depths of the sea. Innsmouth waves take me home to a place I belong. Well, ain't that an interesting way to end off the episode? We got the hentai treatment. Innsmouth Town Square. We've been here half a dozen times at this point, so let's get along to it. So, we've been to the police stations, we scoped out the surroundings, we've gone to the fountain, but we've never gone to the town hall, and at this point I think we've exhausted most other routes that we can go down by going to any of these other options. So, let's head to the town hall. For the first time ever. Town hall. Innsmouth Town Hall. Impressed by its grandeur, you whistle as you enter the lobby. You glean a sense of the former wealth and prosperity of the place from before, well, whatever it was that happened here. A red carpet runs across the white marble floor, while the green velvet curtains on the wall unsuccessfully try to hide some of the cracks in the massive wooden beams. Specks of dust dance in the rays of light shining in through the rows of grand windows. You look up to the ceiling and spot a massive chandelier hanging ominously above your head. It's exactly the kind of thing that would drop on the baddies in the fourth act of a Carpenter movie. Caper movie? Okay, you're talking references I don't understand. A series of ancient corridors go off to the sides into the belly of the bureaucratic beast. And what a belly that would be. You would have to argue over whether or not you want to digest this food or throw it up. There must be offices with sinister civil servants dotted all around this place. Here in the foyer, only every third of the few counters is actually manned, with this kind of moral morale among the people running the town. It's no wonder everything's a bit off. The clerks who are working seem to have placed bets on who can move slowest. Very normal town hall indeed. Normal, that's what you say about fish people. What would you like to do now? Sit down in the waiting room, go directly to the mayor, just wander around for a bit, inspect the lobby. Keep looking around the lobby. There doesn't seem to be anywhere you could get a ticket for the queue. Presumably, even one of those old rolls of paper would be too novel for this place. The patrons are simply sitting on the benches, and some higher power seems to let them know when it's their turn. Maybe people in Innsmouth simply don't get bored, but you are surprised that you can't see anyone among those waiting who have brought a book, a magazine, or any type of technology to entertain themselves. No chats between the parents, neighbors, or strangers, only people waiting in silence. You feel a bit uncomfortable because you're gawking at people, but you can't help it. You want to catch them doing anything, even if it's just blinking. But after a while, you give up. You have a case to solve after all. Are we really using that as our motivation to move on from people watching? Like, we have done literally everything except look for the missing girl at this point. Is it too much to just watch people for a little bit? What would you like to do now? Wander around for a bit. It can't hurt to get a better look behind the scenes of this place. You wander around the ancient and dimly lit corridors of the town hall. The slightly rotting floorboards make a squeaking sound with every step you take. Boards Innsmouth residences, from very old to not quite as old, sit on benches in front of the barely lit offices. A lot of the offices are not actually staffed. You peek into offices in which the doors have been left open or ajar. You're not sure whether the civil servants are merely on a break or whether they simply melted into the carpets. Could be a bit of both. That could be their break. Though to be fair, I'm doubtful they'd even get one. Nobody takes note of you. People seem too busy being bored to death. Keep walking, go directly to the mayor, go into an empty office. A number of the offices are unoccupied. They look just as dingy as those actually used by clerks, but the locals clearly seem to be able to recognize the difference as they walk unearily into the only into only the offices where there are actually clerks currently at work. You stick your head into one of the dimly lit rooms. The musty smell of old fish is in the air, mixed with decades-old dust. In the middle of the room is a desk with an attached drawer cabinet. It is surrounded by shelves on which far too many files are stacked. Some of them are scattered around on the floor. Nobody seems to think it necessary to tidy up. The floorboards groan as you enter the office. Examine the desk. You wander around the desk and sit down on the uncomfortable office chair. Its upholstery seems to be filled with pointy springs, which are all in the most impractical places. Pity for the poor souls who has to work here. Thick layer of dust covers the table's surface like a protective blanket, which probably means no one uses that one, ever. The wood is solid and firm, the kind of wood you have always wanted for your own office. Financially, however, there was only enough for the papier-mâché and building foam versions. The first drawer contains lined notepads with varying sizes. They are yellow and fibrous, and you are tempted into stroking the top sheet with your hand in fascination. A few pencils and a ballpoint pen are scattered next to sheets. Open one of the files. In movies, it is often abandoned folders in which very important information can be found. What the hell was that for? And to believe, the I-files. Found a couple weird City Hall records. Is that an iRobot reference? Often, they hold incriminating photos and handwritten notes like, "I bought drugs today from Russian child traffickers." Jesus! Just going for gold, aren't we? Just once would you like to come across one of these files during your own investigations. Instead, today you find a record of fines for non-compliance with glass wool insulation regulations from 1978. Another folder seems to contain a type of citizen's registration from the same year. You see birth dates, weddings, and death dates noted. I don't know that one. Relatively carelessly, you scan the list for known names. You're about to put the folder away when you notice some strange things after all. The inhabitants of Innsmouth seem to be surprisingly spirited. Comparing birth and death dates, the average age is 90+ years, with some well above that. Bloody hell, no wonder they can't get bored to death. Life expectancy usually goes down in poorer areas, and Innsmouth is definitely a poor town. Then you spot a euphemism note down near the date of death, which you haven't come across before. Went into the sea. Presumably, this has to do with the place being a fishing village where locals might disappear at sea. The possibility of a missing person returning cannot be ruled out. Either that, or Innsmouth has a mob problem that made a lot of people sleep with the fishes. Maybe it means lots of the fishermen in the 90s are falling off their boats. Maybe. Or maybe the fact that they are fish people and they go out to the sea to the point where they know they're not coming back. It's also strange that in many marriages, the names of the spouses is not noted or known. Many John and Jane Does can be found in the records. You're wondering if it is illegal and if this is illegal in some way. In some way, as far as you're aware, you can't get married anonymously outside of Vegas. Maybe Innsmouth has some sort of loophole. I think it just goes based off the local laws. Soon you have finished reading through the whole folder and not come across any names that ring a bell. Well, except for the one guy who has the same name as your father, even the same birthday. You should probably talk to your father about it sometime. Are you an Innsmouther? Interesting. Shiver goes down your spine. You may not be able to spot impending danger, but your gut feeling rarely lets you down. Clearly it's time to go. Indeed. Let's not talk about what the hell just happened. Talk to one of the civil servants. And why not? The locals who have been motionless on the chairs outside don't take notice of you as soon as you step into the room. All oxygen disappears from the air. It's unlikely that you will ever enter the ancient burial chamber of a decaying pyramid, but you imagine this comes close. Okay. It is noticeably darker in the office than in the corridor. A blind on the window of the old building prevents any natural light from entering the room. In the yellowish glow of the desk lamp, you can see the outlines of the civil servant who is hiding out here. A small, plump man whose fingers dig into the edge of the table. He was obviously not expecting visitors during his working hours. A thin film of sweat covers his forehead. It almost looks as if someone poured a pot of syrup over the poor chap. You're reminded of an animal documentary you watched in one of your fits of boundless boredom. There was this bug, or was it a toad? How the sweet Jesus do you get a bug and a toad confused? They eat one another, or toads eat bugs. Fact is, the man reminds you of something small and slimy. At the front edge of the desk, there's a nameplate that reads Mr. Wilson. What do you want? He hissed, annoyed. You show him the Polaroid picture of Tabitha. Have you seen this girl? Her name is Tabitha Marsh. No, now get out of here. You just can't come in here without an appointment. A lump is forming in your neck. The officer didn't even look at the photo. His pupils didn't move an inch. They're still fixed on you. When he says appointment, it's breathy and almost sensual. But maybe you're just imagining things. Okay, I'm going. You growl back with as much confidence as you can muster, given the circumstances. You waste a lot of time here. Your way out of the office leads you past the still and moving bodies, which is curled up on the waiting bench. You wonder how long it will take until someone takes care of the poor soul. Nobody notes you. I guess? Part of me wants to keep walking. Let's keep walking. You keep walking through the corridors. The town hall is a strange labyrinth of dead ends and barricades, only occasionally animated by tired officials with hunched backs and lifeless eyes. At least their disinterest in everything alive gives you the opportunity to move freely around the building. You're about to turn to a large hall when you notice a faded piece of paper stuck to the door. Cafeteria, staff only. Sure, I'll look inside. Driven by curiosity, you position yourself right next to the door and observe the situation. Two men waving pale blue shirts stand out from all the unusually gray officials. Batons, ancient walkie-talkies on their belts, coffee cups in their hands. Security personnel. The two were standing amidst a sea of small round plastic tables. Occasionally, employees of the town hall settle down to chew on their lunches in a kind of trance. Some of them do not even seem to have a reason to be here. They stare into nothingness. Biding their time, an unspoken rule seems to be that only one person is allowed to sit at a table at any one time. Instead of a proper canteen, Innsmouth only has a small coffee machine and a snack machine. The machine is empty. Which one? If the coffee machine's working, then I'm good. I'm cool. I can go all day long. The two guards look just as bored as the other people here. Today is probably the 3,756th day without an important mission for them. Two of them are deep in conversation. Listen in. The two security guards are the most exciting discovery you made in this building so far. You won't miss the chance to follow them around a little. But right now, you're still too far away to overhear what they're saying. You wonder how to get into the cantina unnoticed. Sit down next to someone on a break, walk straight up to the coffee machine. Breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, go. Your instincts are taking over. Putting yourself in the shoes of a bunch of civil servants? No problem, was the only truly reliable brain impulse of a civil servant. More coffee. Determined, but not too determined, more bored and aimless determined, you approach the coffee machine, which is placed next to some cups on the counter. Place one of the cups on the dirty machine and look at the labels. Such a variety offer. Black, no sugar. I mean, I don't use sugar in my coffee, but It's still a pity. I think I'll go for black no sugar? You choose black coffee without sugar. The cup fills slowly but steadily with viscous black syrup that reminds you of the oil leak in your parents' car. When the machine has stopped spitting out the glistening coffee-like substance, a slimy drop still clings to the spout. You tilt the cup back and forth and the coffee stays in its place. Oh, good coffee. You bring the cup to your lips and tilt your head back, waiting for the liquid to follow the law of gravity. In the meantime, you focus your attention on the conversation between the two guards. Fortunately, there is no need to pretend you're busy or focus on reading a newspaper. A stare into the void is all that is expected of you in order to pass as part of the population. Finally, you can easily listen in on the guards. Admittedly, it would be easier if, instead of boring mumbling, they would speak in loud and clear sentences, but you take what you can get. One of the two guards rubs his puffy cheeks while talking. Gets on my nerves so much, the idiot. I'm not a nanny. It's just that he's not one of us. Let him write his speeches and have his photo taken or whatever else you do it as a mayor. Nasally voice replies. Damn it, Carl, I tell you, the guy's a loose cannon. He's gonna talk to the press. The real press, I mean, and just like that, the FBI will be on our ass. It's called he nudged his shoulder. You won't worry too much. With your coffee in hand, the two shuffle along towards the corridor. Their breaks appear to be over. Press? FBI? Is there some dirty business going on in the town? Sort of. If what's going on in this town is anywhere near what was going on in the book, you might want to be dodging firebombs in a few minutes. You're not sure how to interpret these scraps of conversation. You head back to the corridor of the town hall, but not without sticking your head out the door first. The security guards are no longer visible. I guess that leaves one choice. Go directly to the mayor. You can't just sit around and wait. You walk along a few of the dark corridors until you come by a massive door with shiny oak wood panels. It's bigger than any of the other doors, so this might be the right place to come. You walk into the room and lift your hand to shield your eyes from the lights. A bright and clean office, just as if you stepped into another dimension. A man in a fitted suit with a lot of gel in his hair looks up and gives you a formal smile. Come in, how may I help you? Next to him, on a much smaller gray desk, sits a hunched figure in a cowl. Call? Must be the assistant. Here we go. Holy crap. The man rushes to you. Leave, hello? Where the sweet Jesus did you come from? Ah, hello. The assistant now gets up too and walks up behind the mayor so as to follow your conversation better. Judging from your colorful clothes, I can already tell you're not from here. He points at your trench coat. I'm Mayor Van Pawn. Welcome to our beautiful town. The fact that your last name is Pawn is oddly appropriate. I hope you're enjoying the visit. Sure, well, actually, of course. Oh, don't say anything. I know exactly what you're thinking. You heard of our idyllic little seaside town, and you have come here to experience it for yourself. Maybe you even chatted with a few of the locals here. Just an innocent chat, as you do when you visit a new place. You talk and notice more and more that people here are different. They're quieter. You could call it humble, even. You start to feel dizzy. How long is this guy gonna talk for without a pause for breath? Oh, I am damn sure pausing for breath. I'm not trying to pass out here. You got to understand, though, the courageous people of this town are honest people. Fishermen, weather-beaten farmers of the ocean, oldest trade in the world. They're not so well versed in marketing, so I'll be the first to admit that at times they can appear odd to people from outside of town. Really, they all have a heart of gold. One of them stabbed my heart out. So, what brings you here mentioning missing people? Are you aware that a lot of people have gone missing in your town? The visor whispers something. We can't be sure 100% what happens to these people. Maybe some of the people here are simply missing some of their old friends that they haven't seen for a while. I myself, for example, really miss the tiger who used to appear in those cornflakes ads. Wait. Are you talking about Tony the Tiger? With frosted flakes? That tiger still exists. That's the weirdest reference I did not expect to see. Oh, really? Whoa, man, I wish we had proper TV reception down here. Mention the missing girl. Did you know that a little girl has gone missing? Oh, that's terrible. I hope that she'll be found. You should definitely alert the authorities. The last time I tried to speak with the authorities about a crime that was being committed, I got dragged down to a dungeon and sacrificed to an elder god. So let's maybe find a plan B. The mother got in touch with me. She came into my PI office and hired me to find the girl. Also, I think she was trying to sleep with me. The advisor tugs on Van Pawn's suit and whispers something. I've just heard that I should not get involved in such precarious matters if I want to keep having a career. The mayor smiles and simply stares. Oh, Jesus Christ. Okay, time to leave this place. Ask him for help. I want to push this matter. This is about a child, for God's sakes. Have you no decency? This is the man who spent, we're on episode 8, right? The man who spent 7 episodes at this point doing literally everything but investigating the missing child. The eyes of the stiffly smiling mayor wander briefly over his secretary, who slowly takes out a tiny pipe. He blows into it deeply once, but there's no sound. Damn it, are they gonna let a pack of dogs loose? Like Mr. Burns, release the hounds. Worse than that, 2 men enter the room. There's security by the looks of it. What? So he summoned Oompa Loompas? The fingers of the two are already caressing their batons. Without being informed about the situation, they come straight at you with bored faces. Oh. Follow us. Just follow them. Resist. That's the straw that breaks the camel's back. Is this how you treat visitors in your town? You shout loudly just as you've learned from afternoon talk shows? This is what I get for investigating the case of a missing girl? Unbelievable! Van Pawn exchanges puzzled looks with his advisor, who only shrugs his shoulders. Before you continue your argument acting program, something punches you in the pit of your stomach. You sink to your knees. Oh my god, was that really necessary? You hear the mayor say. His voice comes to you as if through a layer of cotton wool. I mean, doesn't that hurt? You barely notice how you're being grabbed by the arms and carried out of the office. Before you know it, the guards would transport you back to the entrance area of the town hall. Your left arm is suddenly free. You can hear a door being opened. Daylight. Before you can say anything, they push you roughly over the threshold of the door. You stagger into the square in front of the town hall. At the last moment, you manage to catch your balance. At least you're spared a rough landing on the pavement. Oh, what? Innsmouth Town Hall was a strange experience. You decide to avoid all other town facilities in order not to waste any more precious time. Following an inner voice, you march towards the little alleyways. Okay, so going from the town hall, we now move on to something else? Interesting. So we automatically got pushed to the alleys. Wait a minute, this is different. The first shop in the corner is a snack bar. Its name is Joe's Pizza and Burr. That's the same. It is printed in big letters on individual sheets of paper. This is where it's different. Right next to it, there is a shop for fishing gear, then a hairdresser's. We went to the hairdresser's, we went to the pizza place, and then we went down to the arcade at the end of the area, but there wasn't any fishing shop before, which means this has changed due to us going into the town hall first. Behind the hairdresser, you can make out a kiosk selling sweets and magazines, and also a liquor store wedged in between two empty buildings. Opposite you, you find a shop whose name seems to be Zan. Judging by the window, it's a music store. At the other end of the street, there's a building with the inscriptions RKMAKs. The letters are made of neon tubes, but some appear to have been burnt out and never been replaced. Maybe some of the shopkeepers can help you. Oh, okay. No. This is the same. We're up shops. Here's something interesting. Blah blah blah. Face the monster in our dream. We kept staring at it and then we woke up. So now we're walking around the room instead of looking out the window and seeing the mob that's coming after us. You always wanted to walk up and down a stately room. You may not be puffing the required pipe, but you can't have everything. You could have sworn the eyes on one of those portraits on the walls are following you around the room. Strange. Take a closer look at the portrait. It is the grim portrait of Captain Obey Marsh. It does look as if Obey's eyes are somewhat deeper in the image. Prick one of the eyes. Prick one of the eyes with a pencil. You stick a pencil into one of the very lifelike eyes in the portrait. Contrary to expectations, the tip of the pencil does not meet solid resistance. Ah! Someone right behind the wall yells. A latch drops and Obey Marsh's portrayed eyes are back to normal. They look no less creepy. You awkwardly look at the pencil and quickly put it back on the dresser. You approach the window, even from this distance. Gathered shimmer across the hotel. Mob with angry torches. Okay. Take flight. With your heart pounding, you grab your trench coat and tiptoe to the door. Enough time wasted, the carpet fortunately muffles most of your steps. Only now and then a rotting floorboard gives a telltale sign. You rush down the hall until you get to the fork. Here we go. Let's see how this works. You take the way to the foyer, the abandoned room. Of course, you still have the key to the room that was left in a hurry. Either the guest has returned there or it is still empty. That gets you either an ally or shelter. You can already hear voices from some of the corridors when you finally stand in front of the room 237. The faraway voices sound like they're chanting. With trembling hands, you put the key into the lock and open the door. Despite the darkness, you realize at once that the room is empty and has not yet been cleaned. You're alone. With bated breath, you sink to the floor with your back against the door. After about a minute, you hear the footsteps of strangers. It seems as if they're searching the corridors. They are looking for you. A cold shiver goes down your spine. You're still not quite sure what these people want from you, but under these circumstances, you are not willing to take any risks. Even though you plan to keep watch for the rest of the night, you eventually doze off. When morning comes, you curse softly in your sleep. You must have twisted yourself into an unnatural position. Your your vertebrae crack alarmingly as you return to a more upright position. So this is different. And yeah, they wouldn't find us because they don't know we have the key. If you don't remember, at like the very, very beginning of the game, we found a key to room 237. We checked it out. There was papers. It looked like another detective, and maybe another sacrifice or something like that, had stayed there. Then it's dawn. In a haze, you walk into the bathroom and change. Your face in the mirror above the sink looks like it's aged by many years. You walk through the corridors and down the stairs to the foyer. You give Mr. Gleam the key. Hope you had a pleasant night in our hotel. Very nice of you to bring back the key. Would you be so kind as to fill out a questionnaire? Rip out the paper. Rip out the paper. With an icy smile, you tear apart the paper and push the shredded bits back over the counter. Mr. Gleam doesn't react. He just keeps smiling. That felt good. What? Why are we suddenly back here? You love to ask Mr. Gleam questions about everything that went on last night, but an instinct that usually prefers prefers to sleep advises you to get out of here while you can. None of the holiday makers that you met around town yesterday are anywhere to be seen on your way back. The bus leads Innsmouth for Boston, already waiting for you. It seems to just be waiting for you and a handful of disfigured villagers. Not a single tourist is among the travelers. They're probably much smarter than you and all arrive by car. When the old bus starts to move, you decide to stop thinking about it. Months later, Boston, 13th of November. Drake awake, pale moonlight. Okay, I come back to Paradise Beach. If you don't know, if you go to the harbor and use the look around option, you're able to find a signpost that says Paradise Beach. You follow that. Think I found something. This I don't think matters. It's just what you prefer. Change to what you read. But if we go up to the bar, I've never sat at the bar. You follow an instinct and sit down at the bar. This place reminds you of your favorite bar in Boston, only that here there's sand on the ground instead of vomit. You feel at home. Surfer dude, how's it hanging? What a small world. Loney from your ride from this morning is poking at the lushy fruit remains of his cocktail glass with a straw. Nods over at you as you sit down. It's clearly not his first drink. Where's the bartender? He starts poking the fruit in his glass around and pushes his bandana into place. Don't know, don't know. Things were really happening, you get me? Then Zeke took off about an hour ago, and since then, no booze. He sighs. It's the kind of sigh you might hear from a war veteran. Why would somebody simply leave a busy beach bar? A bar with an unintended supply of alcohol? Wait for his return. Something's not right. Time passes, your bottom slowly becomes numb on the uncomfortable bar stool, but by now you're too lazy to move. Finally, yeah, about time, some of the tourists proclaim. What's going on there? Hello, I've never met you before. A bored-looking man enters the area behind the bar. You wonder how old he is, but it's really hard to tell. He's wearing a stained green t-shirt, and a squiggly G is embroidered on the left breast pocket. This must be Zeke, the bartender. And word of the barman's return had spread. Holidaymakers swarmed the beach bar like bees round a honeypot. Sorry it took so long. Part-time job at the hotel, he says, bored, and attached a little sign to his shirt which reads, "Happy to serve you today, Ezekiel. You get one round of Innsmouth specials on me." He expertly lines up a row of tall highball glasses and begins to cut out a pineapple. People start cheering, "Go Zeke, go Zeke!" Two young men start chanting. They enthusiastically jump up and down while hugging each other. Takes a while until the first rush to the bar is over. Ah, damn it. You wonder what you could ask Ezekiel. Is this place always this busy? Try the Innsmouth special. Is this place always this busy? There's a steady rush on the bar. The tourists continue to enjoy their drinks, and nobody seems to want to leave the beach bar. Not bad for the northeast coast in late September. This place always this busy, you inquire? No, a bit busier this weekend, but wait until midnight, and then the party really starts, if you know what I mean. He winks at you. You know exactly what he means and wink back at him, say, yeah, I think I do know what he means. You know exactly what he means and winks back at him. Wink wink, you know about stuff and things. You wonder what you could ask him. Try the Innsmouth special. You're curious what the Innsmouth special and STD. What's the Innsmouth special? An STD? What the fuck's wrong with you? This is the best drink on the whole East Coast, baby. One of the techno guys sing-songs drunkenly. Considering the way he holds himself up, it borders on a miracle that he manages to string a coherent sentence together. The surrounding people merely nod. Nobody seems to know which ingredients are actually used in the concoction. You take a tri-sip. Better drunk than sorry. Cheers, Ezekiel mumbles without looking at you, but calmly continues to chop pieces of pineapple to prepare the next batch of drinks. You sip from the glass and the taste of strong alcohol is bitter on your tongue. The orange juice and pineapple pieces barely hide the high rum content. Admittedly, your previously exposed your body to much worse fluids. It tastes awful. Party! Have another sip. Party, you shout as you raise your fist into the air. Woohoo! Party! The other young people scream. Before you know it, you're part of a party crowd. If only you had known 10 years ago how easy it is to make friends. You raise your glasses. A young blonde named Shirley, or Cherry, or was it Sharon? Anyway, she's in the process of scribbling her phone number on one of the hippies' wrists. Unfortunately, nobody has a pen at hand, so she uses a gold feather. But it's the thought that counts. You empty your glass and hand it to Ezekiel. With heavy hearts, you lead the man to his work. You already spent too much time during the investigation at the beach bars. What now? The sea breeze makes you sleepy. You trot towards the deck chairs and haze. Can't hurt to just rest for a moment. It means you'll be able to... Okay, yep. So we're gonna go to sleep. Over to where... I can't remember what I did before. Over to where the other tourists are. I assume I would have taken a more private approach. Not be able to learn language. No, I went here before. They have nothing to say. They know nothing. Now it's nighttime. Let's see what I can do here. Oh, what the hell? This is different. So we woke up, he tried to move his hands. Your hands simply won't follow you. You realize that you have been tied to some sort of pole. Your fingertips can feel a rough and simperately surface. To be clear, the last time we fell asleep in the deck chair, we, joined a fish orgy. This, however, is new. Wooden pole? Have you been kidnapped? Have you been hypnotized? Are you dreaming? Are you dreaming? It could all just be a dream, a nasty, cold, and uncomfortable dream. A dream with astonishing detail, so much that you are even able to make out empty beer cans in the sand that are caressed by the waves. Okay, maybe this is not a dream after all. Son of a... You hear a voice say. They sound familiar, and you think it might be one of the guys who was demanding a drink at the beach bar earlier. And you had assumed you were by yourself. Hello? You ask hopefully. Hey, did he get you too? You wriggle around to try and look at the guy, but no luck. The ties keep you firmly positioned without much room to move about. So many questions. Hey, are you able to untie me? Are you able to untie me? Hey, are you able to untie me, you ask, hopefully? I'd love to, but I can't even reach my own nose. That I've needed to scratch for half an hour now. You curse quietly. The guy behind you seems to have been tied up, just like you. Can't move, he clarifies a few moments later. Time to take stock of the situation. You have been tied to a pole. Seawater spills into your shoes at regular intervals, and your socks are soaked. In front of you, the vastness of the sea. It would be relaxing, actually, if it weren't so terribly cold. Hey, what's that? An unfamiliar voice asks behind you. How many people were there with you? Whatever they were talking about, you can't make out anything apart from the green shimmering waves in the pale moonlight. What was it? I don't know, something. Maybe it was a fish? I wouldn't panic if it was a stupid fish, Alan. I know what a damn fish looks like. There! You saw something. Something broke through the surface of the water, only to immediately dive in again. Something smooth and slimy. You squint. It would have been better not to have had any of this cheap hooch from the beach bar, but it's too late for that now. Overall, it would have been better to do many things differently if only you could turn back time. Oh, the irony in that statement. You would work on your damn mission, have more fun, drink less. Work on your damn mission. That's right. Where is the child you were supposed to find? Not at the beach, that's for sure. If only you could turn back time, you'd do things much better. You would track down the child, collect the reward, and return to Boston triumphantly. The splashing sound. There it is again. It comes closer. Increasingly nervous, you look over the waves. A shark in the shallow water, an army of killer jellyfish, or a giant raging crab. You're not really sure what it is you're looking out for. Your unhelpful brain comes up with more and more sea creatures, but you have actually no idea what these animals feed on. Something cold suddenly settles around your ankles. You scream, panicked, because it's cold and wet and strange, wrong, not from here, definitely not from this world. It can see you, they can all see you, they will. One of the men behind you curses loudly and returns you to your senses again. Holy shit, someone behind you says, then falls silent in the middle of the sentence. Something crawls. Oh, this is completely new. Something crawls around your ankle, higher and higher, moving under the fabric of your clothes. Then there are more, 3 more tentacles slowly glide around your belly, over your arms and around your hands. You look at the creatures that's tangling itself all around you. It is milky white and slightly transparent, almost like a jellyfish. It has suction cups that stick to your skin. It holds you in a vice-like grip, but now you are profoundly terrified by the ice cold could touch the creature. You try to scream for help again, but no sound escapes your lips. You can hear a quiet whimpering from behind you, so you assume that the people who are tied up behind you can clearly see what is engulfing your body. You try to gasp for air, but there is this pressure on your chest. The blood supply to your body is interrupted in several places, and a numbness sets in. Several places in your body alert you to the fact that you urgently need to change something about this situation. By the time your ribs crack, you've already passed out. Screams. Last thing you ever hear in your life are the screams of your fellow prisoners. What the hell? The Song of the Sea. Tentacles pull you into the depths of the sea. Innsmouth waves take me home to a place I belong. Well, ain't that an interesting way to end off the episode? We got the hentai treatment. Okay, I'm gonna end this episode of Innsmouth off here. It's becoming harder and harder and harder to find endings. As I slowly work through more and more of the options, I keep managing to find an ending, but it's becoming more difficult. And I know from screenshots I've seen, there's a bunch of places I've yet to find, but I just don't know how to find them. I don't know what options I need to go down. There is so many options that you can go down with so many different ways they can result. But either way, for right now, I hope you all enjoyed this episode of the Innsmouth case. If you did, there's a playlist down in the description where you can watch all past and future episodes as well. Think about leaving a like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Other than that, be good, be well, and I'll see all of you in the next one. Goodbye!